the local level. This one in particular, the mayor of a small South Carolina town called Lamar. The mayor is Darnell Bird McPherson. And she believed that she was a victim of a hate crime. She found this yellow sticky substance all over her car. Call Bob Mueller. He'll be right on it right away. He's the go-to guy, you know, to investigate everything, right? Terror attacks, everything. So, yeah, just call Bob Mueller about that. No, actually, it turned out, she said she was grateful that the alleged culprits didn't take our lives, and she hoped that they would be identified and prosecuted. Yeah, it's probably some Trump supporter that did that, right? All that yellow stuff on her car. Well, it turns out that it was pollen. She claimed that her husband's soft-top 1998 Buick Roadmaster had been sprayed with a substance which got in all the grooves of his gray sedan. Got in the grooves. Newsweek reported that she had returned to her home and said her husband went out to the car to get some things out of the garage, and he says, "Somebody's painted your car." First, they thought it was vandalism. Then they thought it was a hate crime. Maybe it was a terror attack. You know, she started, her eyes started getting watery. Her sinuses started stopping up. It happens in the Carolinas this time of year. I lived in North Carolina many decades. This time of year, it's not uncommon to see as the pollen is hitting just if you got a lot of wind, I mean, it's just a yellow fog coming out of the trees. But she didn't know it was pollen. Where'd she come from? Queens? I don't know where this woman is coming from. But, you know, quite frankly, folks, there is a solution to this. Send her some pollen block. That's right, pollen block. It's the only thing. We suffered from this kind of stuff in North Carolina. My wife has tried everything, all kinds of over-the-counter drugs, some that you had to get specially prescribed. She's tried neti pots. Nothing worked until she tried pollen block. It's like, this is fantastic. What is this? She looked at it. One ingredient, quail eggs. It's like, oh, wow. You know, if you'd shown that to her and said, this is going to solve your problem. Oh, no, it's just a natural ingredient. Now, I need something that's got a name that I can't pronounce. That's something that, pharmaceutical company spent billions of dollars to create. No, actually, it works great. Works great. Works for the pollen here in Texas as well. So help her with that. She does need help. She thought she was under terrorist attack. While we're talking about pollen block, let's talk about some of the other specials we've got at InfoWarsStore.com. We have DNA Force Plus that is back. We ran out of stock. You can get it right now for 33% off. Get it before it runs out. And get it before your telomeres run out as well. You know, telomeres are those little caps on the end of your DNA strands. They're kind of like a biological clock that is ticking, and it is constantly shrinking. Maybe a better analogy would be like one of these hourglasses. As the sands of time, so are the days of our life. Well, no, it's not actually a sand hourglass like from a soap opera. It is the telomeres that are gradually shrinking. Well, the PQQ can protect your telomeres, and because once those end caps disappear, your DNA strands start to unravel, and you start to have all kinds of things happen to you. They've been able to observe this in different population groups. They said, well, you know, these people are living on average 10 years longer. Oh, well, I see that they've got telomeres that are 10% longer, whatever, than the general population. It's a real thing, and you can get some real help with that. DNA Force Plus now for 33% off. Get it before your biological clock runs out and before the supply runs out and you have to wait for it again. Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine is now coming back, and it is available for pre-order at InfoWarsStore.com, and we have 50% off Alpha Power and Bod Ease. Bod Ease, again, turmeric and other natural enhancers of that natural anti-inflammatory to help you with joint pain, just to help you with inflammation in general. That's why we call it Bod Ease. So take a look at those at InfoWarsStore.com, 50% off. We really do appreciate your support. That's what keeps us going here. All right, let's talk about the ISIS bride. I've mentioned before that this is a great test case for President Trump to bring back the whole topic of anchor babies. Bring it back, even though it's not election time. This is this is something that needs to be fixed, because this is a woman who, as everybody says, well, she's the American ISIS bride. She's not American. Pompeo was right about that. She's not an American citizen. She was born in America. Her parents, her father, she was here because her father was a foreign ambassador. And if we can't look at the explicit language and text of the 14th Amendment, which specifically excludes that, and I think that the reason they put that in, certainly if you look at the debates, the discussions, the context of that at the time, they put that in there because they understood that they did not want to convey citizenship to people who were legitimately visiting here. Legitimately visiting here, not criminally trespassing foreign citizens who then have a baby here. I mean, that's what we've come to accept as anchor babies. But even somebody who is legitimately visiting here, their children do not become citizens. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was not to create anchor babies. It was to clarify the status of newly freed slaves and to say that because they are under the jurisdiction of the American government and have been, and their parents have been under the jurisdiction of the American government, they are American citizens. The people who criminally trespass into our country from another country, who are foreign citizens, are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And here's a woman whose father was an ambassador. Now he says, oh, I stopped being ambassador just before she was born. Okay, right. And then she goes on and Twitter and tells people to do drive-by shootings of Americans, rent trucks and drive over Americans, spill their blood, do it on Memorial Day or on Veterans Day. And now she says, well, I was just going through a phase. I don't know about you, but I never went through a phase when I called on people to spill the blood of Americans on holidays, rent trucks, do drive-by shootings. I never went through a phase like that. And if she went through a phase like that, what other phases is she going to go through in the future? Let's play a little bit of that interview that she had on NBC.
A lot of people are going to find that hard to believe after some of the tweets that you put out.
I know that, but it was an ideology that really was just a phase.
There's one tweet in particular where you talk about calling on Americans to do drive-by shootings, to rent a truck and drive over people, spilling their blood, and you say Memorial Day, Veterans Day, go out and do it.
Again, my lawyer told me not to speak about these things.
Yeah, my lawyer told me not to talk about these things. I don't know. You buying that? I'm not buying that. I'm not buying James Clapper either. Yeah, I think his lawyer told him, my lawyer told me not to talk about these things, except he doesn't say it with an accent, right? He's out there now saying, I didn't lie to Congress about NSA spying. I simply didn't understand the question. Well, James Clapper, if you're that damn stupid, you shouldn't be running our intelligence agencies. Maybe that's why we're losing all these wars in Afghanistan and elsewhere. We got our intelligence agency that can't understand a straightforward question that is asked to him repeatedly. Now, we know exactly what you are, James Clapper. You are a liar and you are a criminal, and you belong in jail, even though the Congress gave you a pass. The same Congress that passed the Patriot Act, that wanted this kind of conduct. When we come back, we're going to do a flashback for James Clapper, and then we're going to tell you how the information highway has really become the Huawei to hell, and how it will become the Huawei to hell with 5G. It's exactly what the NSA and James Clapper and Michael Hayden have always dreamed of. Are we stupid enough to go there? Stay with us. We'll find out when we come back. Stay with us.
The good news is, after a 1.5 year long battle to secure the deep earth crystals that nobody else has, for the purest atomic iodine out there, we have been able to secure X2. I was sure we weren't going to be able to get it. It's a derivative that the oil companies get between 7,000 and 12,000 feet. There's globalist industrial espionage that goes on where they try to not just take our sponsors and things, but actually stop us from getting the raw material, because this is under DEA control to get the raw stuff because it's so powerful. So X2, after being sold out for several months, we were able to get it back into production from its original producer, and we now have it. And it is the purest, best, good halogen out there. Just research how IQs went down massively in the Midwest because they didn't have any iodine in the soil. Once the government added it, it just did all of these insanely good things. Research it. It's incredible. One of God's great gifts. So X2's back. It's in about a week and a half. You can pre-order at InfoWarsStore.com. I almost forgot. 25% off out of the gates to celebrate the fact that it's back. I forgot that part. 25% off X2. A lot of you have experienced it. You've loved it. A lot of you haven't. Try it out. Fund the operation. The bad news is, outside of our audience, people don't know that iodine is needed for electrochemical activity in the brain, or for your hormones, or for everything that happens in your body. And if you don't have it, you absorb the bad halogens like chlorine and fluoride and other things. So get your X2 original today and share it with people. Tell them about the iodine conspiracy, because the bad news is a lot of people don't know. X2 has been sold out for